This Gran Camino, the second edition of this race, which has a history that goes back 89 years. It's returned now on the pro circuit as a 2.1 stage race, which I predict within a couple of years might well be a 2-point pro, moving up to the second division of world race rankings. Not least because it's got a rather illustrious list of winners already, should this man go on to win today, which we expect he will. Very little chance of general classification jeopardy here, Matt, it has to be said. Not that I want to, jinx anything, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, it would take an accident or a double mechanical. I think he's got that much in hand. Even he had a bike change. I think he's going that well, especially over this parkour as well. It's a time trial that will favour his attributes. There's a long climb. We haven't really had a chance to get a glimpse at it. It comes just after about 8 Ks, and it's 2 Ks long, so it's a proper climb. Then it drops off, and then we've seen that real punchy finale. So hopefully we'll get a few moto shots of him potentially on that climb. But now he's got around 24-25 minutes of pain ahead of him, and that's all a TT is. We talk often about the grace of a time trial. It's the race of truth. It's a race of pain. If you're going for it, it is just pain. And over this sort of distance, yeah, it's going to be pretty much after about. Once you're into your effort, some riders will build up to the effort pretty quickly, especially in a shorter TT, but it's going to be very, very painful indeed, that's for sure. Yeah. It's about your tolerance and how much pain you can tolerate, obviously how fit you are, how much power you can put through the pedals, how aerodynamic you are, how efficient you are, but also how much pain, how much you can tolerate psychologically, and that is quite often the difference between the best time trialists. Is the fact that you might have pound for pound a stronger rider, but one can ride a time trial better because they can focus in a slightly different way and almost block out that pain and get into this zen-like state where they're just in this place that a lot of people can't inhabit. There is a skill to time trialing, and I remember I was talking to Chris Boardman about it, and he said
Joaquim Silva, the Portuguese rider, went through the intermediate time check halfway in 4th place ahead of Simon Geschke and Bart Lemon, and he slots in 8th place at the finish, the Portuguese rider. What a great shot, just as we had yesterday as he was ripping away from the field, Jonas Vingegaard. That's the last drone shot we'll see live right now, or re-live, because it's happened just now, I suspect, before they've uploaded that footage. Great shot of the defending Tour de France champion, absolutely shredding along here. You can see how tight that skin suit is, despite the fact that, as Matt said, it's been provided by the race organiser. It looks spray-on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, interesting to talk about the drone. Very good.
Absolutely.
Time.
Let's see where that slots him in. I've just got to work this out in my tiny brain. He went through the intermediate time check in 2nd place, ahead of David de la Cruz. 2nd fastest time through there. That's a really good ride by the American.
Yeah.
We'll update you in just a moment of where that puts him in the current standings at the finish line.
Yeah, it was a very good performance. Bart started, remember the day, 10th place overall at 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And that sort of performance right now, given the rides, we've still got those rides across line. Fernandez, Pedrosa, Langelotti, Nurikar should be coming through very, very shortly. But yeah, that will, I think, definitely put him a lot higher. It could be up as high as 6th or 5th even on the general classification, because I think he's going to possibly put well over a minute, I would imagine, into Lorenzo Fortunato, but we'll see. That's a really good performance, so he's definitely going to finish with a higher place than he started today.
There are just 9 riders left out on the course. Neruka, Langelotti, Pedrero, Fernandez, Attila Valter, who's nearly catching Lorenzo Fortunato as well. Valter's on a flyer today. Herrada just behind him, and then Ruben Guerrero and Vingegaard. Vingegaard is also closing in on Ruben Guerrero, so an opportunity there for Jonas Vingegaard to try and see if he can catch Ruben Guerrero come the finish. That would be fascinating, and all the while, if he's doing that, this could be drawing him on, as I said, to his first ever professional time trial win for the Dane, and he is flying.
Oh, it's rocketing. I mean, this is a fast part of the course. He hadn't quite turned into that headwind just yet. This is where they've got a cross tailwind. It's about 12, 15 kilometers an hour, so reasonably windy, so they really will feel it. But look at the fact from the back, we can hardly see his helmet. He's dipping it down, looking up. This is that little left turn where we get that relatively competitive TTs on the run into the Tour de France. So every opportunity there is to execute one to as near perfection as you can is going to be taken with both hands, and he's clearly doing that right now. Mightily impressive so far.
Ruben Fernandez, who was fourth in this race, the best returner from last year's general classification, comes to the line. 138 down. Actually, by his makeup and his rider type, that's a pretty good ride actually by Ruben Fernandez, the Cofidis man.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's not bad at all. Tell you what I noticed about Vingegaard on that little downhill section. Still got quite a few rollers, 5.8 Ks to go for the man in the yellow jersey, is how little his upper body moves. Just look at it from the side. Yeah. He is going to be putting out a lot of power here. There's an ever touch, there's a little bit of movement, but he is absolutely solid. He really, really is.
Yeah. As we see him in the skin suit, Matt, as well, it's very clearly indicative, particularly with the side shots, of one of those things which is so common amongst the very best general classification riders and the very best endurance riders in our sport. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them. That incredibly deep rib cage, that, you know, enormous cavity within which is locked a ridiculously large set of lungs. It's so common, that, isn't it? When you see him side on, you know, it is a particularly deep torso.
Yeah. Oh no, he's gonna have a lot of his VO2 max is gonna be impressive. That is for sure. Just interesting. I'm looking at the split of Ruben Guerrero. He was 1 minute and 7 seconds slower than Jonas Vingegaard. They started off at 2-minute intervals. I don't think he's quite going to catch him, but he's going to close in. I think he might have him in sight on their final little climb to the line. So he's about, roughly, assuming he's continuing to ride quicker than Guerrero, he's probably about 40 seconds, 35, 40 seconds behind him on the road. So he might reel him in, or he might not, but it's going to be close. But it'll be an additional motivator. Not that this man needs much motivating, but to see another rider up in front, especially a rider in second place overall.
Alejandro Valverde, who took his last ever professional win in this race 1 year ago, in his final year of his career. And look at Jonas Vingegaard. He's now emptying the tank fully. He is ripping up there. I have to say, he's going to be getting closer and closer to Guerrero all the time. I'm surprised we can't see him. They'll need to get those vehicles out of the way because he's only just over the top of that rise.
Yeah, you can see him fighting the bike here. It's pulling him on, isn't it? It really is. I don't know if he'll catch him to the line, but he's going to keep on fighting. He really is. They're actually pulling the cars up just in case the Maillot Jaune does catch this man for 2 minutes.
There you can see him just in front of him, and Jonas Vingegaard can see Guerrero as well. This is a statement of intent from him today. If he can take the stage win, don't forget, not only will he have won his first ever professional time trial, but he'll have started this season with 3 wins in a row. Tadej Pogacar, anything you can do, I can do even better after last week in the Ruta del Sol. It's going to be, wow, quite an amazing week for the defending Tour de France champion, if he can pull this off, Matt.
Well, 1,500 metres to go, he quite possibly would. We know what the finish is like. It kicks up again. It's a very cruel run-in, but I think Jesus Herrada is going to vault over Guerrero. Remember, he started the day only just under 30 seconds behind him on the general classification, and Guerrero being caught by 2 minutes. I think Herrada is going to be vaulting over into second place overall. But can Jonas Vingegaard, we know he's going to win this one now, barring him wiping out 1K to go for the Portuguese rider, but this is some performance by Vingegaard.
Absolutely. The time of Rowan Dennis, 24:22 at the finish. Let's get the clock on Jonas Vingegaard, who's giving this everything. He ripped up that last climb. You would think that was going to the finish itself. Now he's into the big gear on this very fast run into this right-hander. There is Guerrero at the right-hand side of your screen, the Portuguese man in the blue of Movistar, just hanging on. I think these two are going to come to the line very, very close together.
Yeah, he's carrying a lot of pace, isn't it? You can see him. He's got him in his crosshairs. He's going to try and absolutely empty the tank here. If you're not feeling good up this last drag, you can lose a lot of time. Guerrero will be acutely aware of what's happening behind him, also trying to salvage that second place. But I do think Herrada's going to take it. But just look at the rampaging Jonas Vingegaard. He's on a different level.
He really is. The Dane is absolutely flying at the start of this season. And if his training pedigree is anything to go by, he's only going to be getting stronger as well. Oh, he's nearly overcooked it around that corner. We're going to see the Portuguese Ruben Guerrero wearing the number 1 on his back coming to the line, but only just surviving ahead of the man who started 2 minutes behind him, and he's been on a rampage all week, Jonas Vingegaard. Let's see the time. How close can he be to Rowan Dennis's 24:22? Guerrero finishes 1 minute 20 down on Rowan Dennis. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. The only man to go 23-something. He's won his first professional time trial, Jonas Vingegaard, and in doing so, he's taken 2 victories on one day.